I've always wondered, are these folding racing chairs just a gimmick? Let's find out. First up, we need a folding racing chair. Oh hey, isn't that convenient? I've been sent a review unit by a company called RacGTing. RacGTing? Okay, let's go with that. Now this is no ordinary folding chair, it's a racing chair. That means instead of buying a $100 racing stand for your wheel and pedals and then spending another $100 on a chair that can recline a bit like a sports car, you get this all-in-one solution that folds up neatly when you're done. But here's the question, is it gimmicky nonsense that's gonna fall apart leaving you with no choice but to go and buy an expensive sim racing setup for over $1,000 anyway? Time for step 2. For what looks like a set of flimsy metal pipes and a cloth-based chair, the packaging it came in was super solid. In fact, so solid that inside that box was another box, and inside that box, another box. Just kidding. By the way, just to be clear, this product was sent to me for the purposes of making this video, but I don't have to send it back at the end, and all opinions are my own. Now, in the second slightly smaller box was the racing chair itself, incredibly well padded and protected in a plastic bag. After ripping the bag open and somewhat haphazardly cutting the plastic ties with a pocket knife, I was stunned to discover that there's almost no assembly required. The cheap $100 racing stand I reviewed before from Amazon came in 6 million heavy pieces, and honestly, on multiple occasions, I thought I was going to lose a finger while setting it up. Speaking of setting it up, since it came mostly ready to use out of the box, I was able to unfold it, attach a couple screws to the legs, and viola! The chair was pretty much ready to go. Let's do a lap on the old setup and let's see if the new setup makes me faster. It makes no sense, but it might happen. Man, it's been a while since I did this. Oh, here we go, okay. Alright, here we are in the old setup with my desk chair. Whoa! 40. Oh god, what did I bump into? What is this? I forgot how weak the force feedback is on this wheel. This racing stand that I bought for like $100 is really good actually. It's just the desk chair is just dreadful. Now if you're a cheapskate like I was, you probably tried one of these $100 racing stands thinking something like, hey, I already have a chair and just sliding it over when I need will help me save space. But oh how wrong you would be, because those cheap racing stands are incredibly heavy to avoid sliding away from you when you slam on the pedals. So the truth is my cheap racing stand just sits here all the time, not getting used, because sliding my ergonomic chair over is a hassle, and even if I can be bothered to do it, the chair just rolls away from the wheel. I can still feel like my chair really wants to roll backwards if I push too hard on the brakes. Out of the way, hot rod! Anyone who's got a Honda Jazz, you'll know what I'm talking about. You feel like you're kind of sitting in a bus. If you want to, you can even check the passenger seat of your car. That's nuts. There's something about the realism which is kind of broken though. I do feel like I'm sitting at my desk. I can feel like I'm sitting on the mesh of this ergonomic chair. So what did I come in? 9th place? Not great. Okay, so 9th place. That's pretty awful, but is it the fault of the racing stand? Well, maybe, but really Gran Turismo is a weird game where basically you always finish in last place until you spend in-game currency to make your car go faster. So, is this test scientific? Yeah, sure, of course. But now that we've made a mockery of the old El Cheapo stand, time to spend 50 hours transferring the wheel and pedals over to the new one. Let's get these pedals in place. Alright, I'm gonna put them as far away as possible because I have long spider legs. Alright, I've got the chair set up with the wheel, the shifter, which I've moved to the left side, and the pedals. Let's get into it. Shift this to the side so I can actually get in. Wow! Oh, this is insane. I did not think the wheel was going to be so high up. I think you have to fold this in first, and then you can go all the way down. Alright, ready? Oh man, I actually feel like I'm in a car now! Alright, so it feels really great. Because it is a folding seat, you don't have a lot of adjustment that you can make to the exact angles and positions of things. Oh, here we go, oh, this is it! Yes! We got it! Snooze, you lose! I love being able to look at my opponent. No! Oh, I don't think so. Oh, wow, they get aggressive. 9th place. We tried our best. Whoops. So we're gonna go for the sports. Soft bore up. Camshaft. Weight reduction. Turbocharger. Wow! Alright, ready. Actually, the position feels better now. Alright, so the racing position feels pretty good. The wheel in real life feels like it's higher than it is in the game. It is a little bit frustrating that there's not a lot you can do to adjust that. Oh, that's the fancy Alfa Romeo, sorry. Oh, he's upset. Wow, with VR you can actually turn your head and see exactly how many inches away you are from the other car. Let's be aggressive around this corner. Not that aggressive, too aggressive. Oh no! Ah, okay, not first place, but Second place that'll have to do. Listen up, this racing seat from RacGTing is kind of amazing, and I don't really feel like it's worth spending less just so you can save a bit of money, because the experience is completely different. When you go for the cheap metal stand, you do have to supply the chair, and you have to make sure that the chair doesn't roll anywhere, and making sure it does that, for me, it just meant that I never played GT7 because I couldn't be bothered to switch my chairs out for the one that actually could recline, and then also make sure that I've got those chair stoppers, and even when I had the chair stoppers, it didn't really work well enough to prevent the chair from rolling further away. I've got the wheel in a pretty good position. I feel like maybe it's a little bit high. It's designed for maybe if you're playing more like an F1 game. Okay, I think you get the idea behind this racing chair, but it's time to answer the question from the start. Are folding racing chairs gimmicky nonsense? Yes, the chair itself is basically a hammock. It looks less like a sports car bucket seat and more like something you would fold up and bring to a barbecue. No, you actually sit low to the ground just like in a real race car, and the high wheel position makes it feel a bit like a Formula 1. Not that I have any idea what that really feels like. Yes, at a desk, something incredibly simple like adjusting your distance from the wheel or even how high up the wheel is positioned is super easy to do, but on these folding chairs, there's really not much you can do in terms of fine adjustment. If you're tall-ish like I am though, the seating position is pretty good from the start, so hopefully you're pretty much the same size as I am, and if you're not, eat some broccoli. No, you're firmly locked in place so you don't slide away from the wheel every time you push hard on the brakes. Now, if you push incredibly hard on the brakes, you can cause the chair to lift up a bit, but I think this only happens if you push harder than necessary. When hitting the brakes hard enough to get full braking power, I didn't notice the seat lifting up, but be aware that if you're super light and malnourished like I am, making the chair lift up is technically possible. Yes, it's $220 for what looks like some fake leather fabric and a set of metal pipes that you could build yourself. No. Face it, you're never actually going to build something like this yourself, and even if you did, it would have tons of issues, probably break after a week, and the cost of parts, time, and labor would come to way more than just a couple $100. So all in all, not gimmicky at all. I think value for money, this is a much better solution than buying a cheap racing stand and using a regular desk chair. A desk chair won't feel like a car seat, and you'll slide away from the wheel even if you have wheel stoppers on, because the rotational force of pushing on the pedals will lift your chair right out of your wheel stoppers anyway. And to be quite honest, this foldable chair is lighter and easier to put away than the heavy metal used in most racing stands. Now, if you're quite short and your TV is the only screen you have for racing, then you should be aware that the seat position is pretty low and the wheel height is pretty high. So even if you're comfortable, the wheel itself might block your field of view unless you put the TV higher up. But if you don't mind doing that, or if you're playing in VR like I am, then it's really a non-issue. So, finally, I can put my mind at ease. Now I know that these folding chairs, even if not super easy to adjust, are pretty darn good and definitely worth a look if you don't have the cash for a mega expensive sim racing setup, or even if you just don't have the luxury of space in your room. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel and check out this video next, where I go into detail on a cheaper racing stand if you don't have the budget for this one. That's all for today. I've been NihongoGamer. I'll see you real soon.